The 80s, a decade when disco died, synthesizers ruled the airwaves, and American muscle cars clawed their way back from the dead. These weren't the tire-shredding monsters of 1969, but they were survivors, fighters, machines that proved horsepower could rise from the ashes of emissions regulations and fuel crises. Today, we're counting down the 12 fastest 1980s muscle cars over the quarter mile, from turbocharged underdogs to V8 legends that refused to die. Strap in. This is the story of speed, survival, and the decade that saved American performance. Number 12, 1987, Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS Aerocoupe. The Monte Carlo SS Aerocoupe wasn't built for drag strips. It was built for Daytona, for Talladega, for the high-speed banking where NASCAR legends were made. Chevrolet introduced the Aerocoupe in 1986 as a homologation special, a street-legal version of the slippery fastback design that dominated stock car racing. The NASCAR requirement was simple: build at least 200 units for public sale to qualify for competition. Chevrolet exceeded that dramatically, producing 6,200 examples to ensure the Aerocoupe's eligibility and to capitalize on the car's racing success. Under the hood sat a 5.0-liter V8, producing 150 to 180 horsepower, mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission. The quarter-mile time? Around 15 seconds flat. Not blistering, not terrifying, but respectable for a car that weighed over 3,500 pounds and prioritized aerodynamics over outright acceleration. The Aerocoupe's defining feature was that fastback roofline, a design that reduced drag and increased downforce at triple-digit speeds. Wind tunnel testing showed the Aerocoupe's sloped rear window reduced drag coefficient significantly compared to the standard Monte Carlo SS, making it faster on NASCAR superspeedways, where every tenth of a mile per hour mattered. On the street, it looked like nothing else. A Monte Carlo that had been stretched and smoothed by wind tunnel engineers, chasing tenth-of-a-second advantages on superspeedways. The interior remained largely unchanged from the standard Monte Carlo SS, with bucket seats, full instrumentation, and the typical mid-80s General Motors design language. Only 6,200 Aerocoupes were built, making it one of the rarest Monte Carlos ever produced. Dale Earnhardt and other NASCAR legends drove Aerocoupe-bodied race cars to victory lane, cementing the design's place in motorsports history. Today, they're collector pieces, valued more for their NASCAR heritage and unique styling than their straight-line speed. The Aerocoupe was a cruiser with racing DNA, a car that reminded everyone that American muscle wasn't just about acceleration, it was about legacy. Number 11, 1982, Dodge Charger 2.2 Shelby. Carroll Shelby's name belongs on Cobras and Mustangs, not on a front-wheel drive Dodge with a 4-cylinder engine. But in 1982, Shelby teamed up with Chrysler to build something unexpected, a turbocharged Dodge Charger that proved you didn't need a V8 to have fun. The partnership began when Lee Iacocca, Chrysler's chairman and Shelby's old friend from Ford, convinced the legendary hot rodder to come out of retirement and work some magic on Chrysler's economy car platform, the Charger 2.2. Shelby packed a 2.2-liter turbocharged inline-4, producing 135 horsepower, paired with a 5-speed manual transmission. It ran the quarter mile in around 15.5 seconds, which doesn't sound impressive until you remember this was a front-wheel drive economy car punching way above its weight class. The engine featured a Garrett turbocharger that built boost gradually, creating a distinct power delivery that rewarded drivers who knew how to keep the turbo spooled. The Shelby Charger was light, nimble, and had turbo lag that made every acceleration feel like a 2-stage rocket launch. You'd press the throttle, wait for the turbo to spool, and then feel the front wheels claw for traction as boost kicked in. It wasn't elegant, it wasn't smooth, but it was hilariously fun. Shelby added his signature touches: performance suspension, upgraded brakes, stripes, and badging that made it clear this wasn't just another K-car derivative. The suspension modifications included stiffer springs, performance shocks. The SVO cost significantly more than the Mustang GT, with prices approaching $20,000 when the GT could be had for under $12,000. Sales were disappointing, with Ford building fewer than 9,500 SVOs over 3 model years. Ford discontinued the SVO after 1986, ending the experiment in turbocharged Mustang performance. Number 8. 1986. Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. The third-generation Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, introduced in 1982, was a sleek, wedge-shaped machine that looked like it belonged in a science fiction movie. The aerodynamic design featured a drag coefficient of just 0.32, making it one of the slipperiest production cars in America. By 1986, it had found its stride. The Trans Am featured a 5.0-liter V8 with tuned port injection, producing between 190 and 210 horsepower, depending on the year and configuration. The tuned port injection system used long intake runners that improved low-end torque and throttle response compared to earlier carburetor and throttle body injection systems. Paired with a 5-speed manual transmission, it ran the quarter mile in around 14.5 seconds. The optional 4-speed automatic transmission was slightly slower, but offered smoother power delivery and easier daily driving. The Trans Am was famous. Literally. Knight Rider, one of the most popular television shows of the decade, featured a talking Trans Am named KITT that could drive itself, jump over obstacles, and fight crime. The show made the Trans Am an icon, cementing its place in pop culture alongside its mechanical capabilities. Universal Studios used multiple Trans Ams for filming, with some equipped with special effects and others serving as stunt cars. But beyond the Hollywood glitz, the Trans Am was a legitimate performance car. The tuned port injection system improved throttle response and power delivery. The WS6 suspension package tightened handling, and the styling was aggressive without being cartoonish. The WS6 package included performance-tuned springs and shocks, larger anti-roll bars, and specific damping rates that transform the Trans Am's handling from comfortable cruiser to capable canyon carver. The Trans Am matched the Camaro IROC-Z in performance, offering similar power and acceleration in a package that appealed to drivers who preferred Pontiac's more flamboyant styling. The Trans Am's interior featured a futuristic digital dashboard in early models, though Pontiac reverted to analog gauges in later years after customer complaints about the digital display's readability. It wasn't the fastest car of the 80s, but it was one of the most memorable, a car that proved muscle cars could be both quick and stylish. Pontiac sold over 40,000 Trans Ams in 1986 alone, demonstrating the model's enduring popularity. Number 7. 1984. Chevrolet Corvette. After years of incremental updates to the aging C3 platform, Chevrolet introduced the C4 Corvette, a completely redesigned sports car with modern styling, improved handling, and technology that brought the Corvette into the future. Notably, Chevrolet skipped the 1983 model year entirely, making the 1984 the first Corvette in decades to launch without a preceding model. Under the hood sat a 5.7-liter V8 with crossfire injection producing 205 horsepower, mated to a 4-speed manual transmission. The crossfire system used dual throttle body injection units, mounted on top of the intake manifold, feeding air through a unique crossover intake design. Quarter-mile times came in around 15 seconds. The crossfire injection system, while a technological step forward, was criticized for being complicated and not particularly powerful. The system's complexity made it difficult for enthusiasts to modify, and the power output didn't justify the engineering overhead. But what the C4 Corvette lacked in raw horsepower, it made up for in handling. The new chassis was stiffer, the suspension was more sophisticated, and the Corvette finally felt like a proper sports car instead of a fast cruiser. The C4 featured a fully independent suspension with aluminum control arms, transverse fiberglass leaf springs, and sophisticated geometry that dramatically improved cornering capability. The C4 was lighter than its predecessor, with better weight distribution and a lower center of gravity, and larger anti-roll bars that transformed the Charger's handling from economy car soft to genuinely responsive. Shelby's engineers also installed a limited slip differential to help manage the torque going through the front wheels. It was quirky, it was weird, and it proved that even in the darkest days of American performance, creativity could still produce something worth driving. The Shelby Charger wasn't the fastest car of the 80s, but it was a reminder that muscle comes in unexpected packages. Number 10, 1987, Oldsmobile 442. The Oldsmobile 442 nameplate carried serious weight in the muscle car world. The original 442 from the 60s and early 70s was a legend, a high-compression V8 monster that could run with the best Detroit had to offer. The name itself came from the original car's 4-barrel carburetor, 4-speed transmission, and dual exhaust system. By 1987, the 442 had returned, but the world had changed. The 1987 442 was based on the Cutlass Supreme, powered by a 5.0-liter V8, producing 170 horsepower through a 4-speed automatic transmission. Quarter-mile times hovered around 15.3 seconds flat. It wasn't slow, it just wasn't fast by classic muscle standards. What separated the 442 from a standard Cutlass Supreme was a performance suspension package, distinctive styling with ground effects and spoilers, special wheels, and unique badging that recalled the glory days. What the 442 offered was style, classic Oldsmobile styling with updated 80s flair, comfortable seating, and enough power to remind drivers that performance hadn't completely disappeared from the brand. The interior featured sport bucket seats with 442 embroidery, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, and full instrumentation, including a tachometer. The 442 was more of a gentleman's muscle car, a machine built for cruising rather than conquering. Oldsmobile built approximately 4,000 442s for the 1987 model year, followed by limited production in 1988. Oldsmobile built it to appeal to buyers who remembered the glory days and wanted a taste of that heritage without the raw aggression of the original. The pricing was positioned as a premium option, adding several $1,000s to the base Cutlass Supreme cost. It was a muscle car for a different era, one that prioritized refinement alongside performance. Road test magazines of the period praised the 442's comfortable ride and improved handling, but noted it lacked the outright performance that made muscle cars exciting. Today, the 1987 442 is a footnote in muscle car history, overshadowed by faster, more aggressive machines. But for Oldsmobile fans, it represents one last attempt to keep the 442 legend alive before the brand faded into history. Number 9, 1983, Ford Mustang SVO. Ford took a gamble in 1983 with the Mustang SVO, a turbocharged 4-cylinder Mustang designed to compete with European sports cars. The name SVO stood for Special Vehicle Operations, Ford's newly created performance division tasked with building limited production high-performance vehicles. It featured a 2.3-liter turbocharged inline-4, producing 175 horsepower, paired with a 5-speed manual transmission. By 1984, Ford had bumped power to 200 horsepower, and the 1986 model produced 205 horsepower, making it more powerful than the standard 5.0-liter V8 Mustang GT of the same year. Quarter-mile times came in around 15 seconds flat for the early models, improving to the mid-14-second range for later, more powerful versions. The SVO was lighter than the V8 Mustangs, with better weight distribution, upgraded suspension, and 4-wheel disc brakes. The suspension featured adjustable Coney shocks, allowing drivers to fine-tune the ride quality and handling characteristics for street or track use. It handled like a European sports sedan, carving corners with precision the heavier V8 cars couldn't match. The SVO also featured distinctive styling, with a unique front fascia, functional hood scoop, biplane rear spoiler, and flush-mounted headlights that gave it an aggressive, aerodynamic appearance. But here's the problem. Mustang buyers wanted V8 rumble. They wanted torque. They wanted the visceral experience of an American muscle car. And the SVO's turbocharged 4-cylinder, despite its technology and refinement, just didn't deliver that emotional punch. It carved corners with confidence, stopped on a dime with improved brakes, and looked unmistakably modern. The drag coefficient of 0.34 made it one of the most aerodynamic production cars available. Chevrolet knew the Crossfire engine wasn't the answer, and by 1985 they'd replaced it with tuned port injection, boosting power to 230 horsepower and improving drivability significantly. The 1985 and later C4 Corvettes could run the quarter mile in the low 14-second range, making them genuinely quick by contemporary standards. But the 1984 Corvette remains significant as the model that marked Corvette's transition from muscle car to world-class sports car, blending American power with European-inspired handling dynamics. Chevrolet built over 50,000 C4 Corvettes in the extended 1984 model year, which ran from March 1983 through the end of calendar year 1984. Number 6, 1985, Chevrolet Camaro IROC-Z. The Camaro IROC-Z, introduced in 1985, was the Camaro that finally got it right. Based on the third-generation Camaro platform that debuted in 1982, the IROC-Z took 3 years of refinement and culminated in a package that delivered both performance and style. Based on the third-generation Camaro platform, the IROC-Z featured a 5.0-liter V8 with tuned port injection producing 215 horsepower. The optional 5.7-liter tuned port injection V8, available starting in 1987, produced 245 horsepower and pushed the IROC-Z into true high-performance territory. With a 5-speed manual transmission, it ran the quarter-mile in 14.1 seconds. The 4-speed Borg-Warner T5 transmission was a weak point under hard use, with many owners breaking gears when launching aggressively or power shifting at high RPM. The IROC name came from the International Race of Champions, a racing series where drivers from different disciplines competed in identically prepared Camaros. Chevrolet capitalized on the association, branding the high-performance Camaro with the IROC-Z badge and paying licensing fees to use the racing series name. The IROC-Z was lighter and sharper than earlier Camaros, with improved suspension, better brakes, and styling that screamed 1980s performance. The weight reduction came primarily from the third generation's aluminum drive shaft, lighter body panels, and elimination of unnecessary sound-deadening material. Ground effects, hood vents, aggressive wheels, and bold graphics made the IROC-Z unmistakable on the street. The IROC-Z became an icon of the decade, appearing in movies, music videos, and driveways across America. It was the affordable performance car, a machine that delivered V8 power and handling without requiring a mortgage. With prices starting around $13,000, the IROC-Z offered supercar-level performance at middle-class pricing. Number 5, 1987 Ford Mustang GT. The Fox-body Mustang GT was the street king of the 1980s. Affordable, fast, and easy to modify, the Mustang GT dominated drag strips and back roads across America. The Fox-body platform, introduced in 1979, was Ford's answer to downsizing demands while maintaining the Mustang's performance heritage. The 1987 model featured a 5.0-liter high-output V8, producing 225 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque, paired with a 5-speed manual transmission. The 5.0, as enthusiasts called it, featured hydraulic roller lifters, improved cylinder heads, and a more aggressive camshaft profile that delivered strong mid-range torque. Quarter-mile times came in at 14 seconds flat. The Fox-body Mustang was light, weighing under 3,200 pounds, which gave it a power-to-weight ratio that made it quicker than many more expensive sports cars. The lightweight construction used unibody architecture with McPherson strut-front suspension and a solid rear axle on 4-link suspension. The 5.0-liter V8 was bulletproof, easy to work on, and responded beautifully to modifications. Bolt-on parts could add 50 horsepower without breaking the bank. Enthusiasts could install cold air intakes, headers, catback exhaust systems, and reprogram the engine computer for significant power gains with basic hand tools and a weekend afternoon. The Mustang GT was raw. It didn't have sophisticated suspension or refined handling. The live rear axle would hop and skip under hard acceleration, and the interior was basic. The dashboard featured digital instruments in some models, though many enthusiasts preferred the analog gauges offered in later years, but none of that mattered. The Mustang GT was about one thing: speed, and it delivered. The aftermarket exploded around the Fox-body Mustang, with thousands of companies producing parts to make these cars faster, louder, and meaner. Companies like BBK, Edelbrock, Holley, and countless others built entire product lines around the Fox-body platform. Mustang owners formed a passionate community, racing at local tracks, cruising on weekends, and constantly trying to squeeze more horsepower out of their 5.0 engines. Drag racing magazines were filled with Fox body Mustangs, running 9-second quarter miles with heavily modified engines and suspension setups. The Fox body Mustang GT became a cultural phenomenon, a car that defined American performance for an entire generation. Ford built over 2 million Fox body Mustangs between 1979 and 1993, with the GT variant representing the pinnacle of Fox body performance. Number 4. 1989 Ford Mustang LX 5.0. The 1989 Mustang LX 5.0 was the sleeper that embarrassed sports cars twice its price. While the Mustang GT got all the attention with its ground effects, spoilers, and aggressive styling, the LX was the stripped-down version. Less weight, less flash, more speed. The LX eliminated the GT's body cladding, rear spoiler, and fog lights, resulting in cleaner aerodynamics and reduced weight. Under the hood sat the same 5.0-liter V8, producing 225 horsepower, but the LX weighed about 100 pounds less than the GT. That difference mattered. The weight savings came from the absence of ground effects, the lighter bumper covers, and the deletion of some sound-deadening material. Quarter-mile times came in at 13.9 seconds, making the LX slightly quicker than its more expensive sibling. The LX looked like a secretary's car. Plain body, minimal badging, simple wheels. The notchback coupe version looked particularly understated, resembling a base-model economy car more than a performance machine. But that was the beauty of it. You could roll up to a stoplight, looking like you were on your way to the grocery store, and then humiliate a Corvette when the light turned green. The LX 5.0 became a legend among street racers and drag strip regulars, who understood that performance wasn't about looks, it was about results. Police departments across America recognized the LX's potential, ordering them as pursuit vehicles with the special service package that included heavy-duty cooling, upgraded alternator, and police-specific calibrations. The combination of lightweight construction, V8 power, and understated styling made the LX the ultimate Q-ship, a car that could fly under the radar until it was time to unleash all 225 horses. Savvy buyers ordered the LX with minimal options, deleting air conditioning and other comfort features to save even more weight. The LX was available as a coupe or convertible, with the notchback coupe being the lightest and fastest configuration. Today, clean LX 5.0 Mustangs are highly sought after by collectors who appreciate the car's purity and performance. Pristine examples, particularly notchback coupes with low mileage and original paint, can command prices approaching $20,000 or more. It was muscle in its simplest form. No frills, no compromises, just speed. The LX 5.0 represented the democratic ideal of American performance, accessible power that didn't require expensive options or flashy styling to deliver thrills. Number 3. 1987 Chevrolet Corvette, Callaway Twin Turbo. The Callaway Twin Turbo wasn't just a modified Corvette. It was a factory-authorized option, RPOB-2K, that transformed Chevrolet's sports car into a supercar killer. Reeves Callaway had been building turbocharged Alfa Romeos and BMWs when Chevrolet approached him about creating an official high-performance Corvette option. Starting in 1987, Corvette buyers could check option B2K on the order form and have their car shipped directly from the Bowling Green assembly plant to Callaway Engineering in Connecticut. The result was a 5.7-liter V8 equipped with twin turbochargers, producing 345 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. The twin-turbo system used two water-cooled IHI turbochargers mounted low in the engine bay, each feeding 3 cylinders for improved throttle response and reduced turbo lag. Quarter-mile times dropped to 12.8 seconds, making the Callaway Corvette the fastest production car available in America. The Callaway Corvette could accelerate from 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds, with some test recording times as low as 4.6 seconds. It was paired with a 4-speed automatic transmission, as the Doug Nash 4+3 manual couldn't reliably handle the Callaway's torque output. The 6-speed manual transmission introduced in 1989 became the preferred choice for Callaway buyers seeking maximum performance and control. The Callaway modifications included upgraded fuel injectors, a reprogrammed engine computer, a larger intercooler, reinforced engine internals, and a complete stainless steel exhaust system. Callaway also installed a heavy-duty clutch, upgraded differential, and performance brake pads to handle the increased power. The exterior received subtle Callaway badging and unique wheels, but otherwise looked like a standard Corvette, making it the ultimate sleeper. Callaway offered the twin-turbo conversion through 1991, with prices adding approximately $26,000 to the base Corvette cost. The total price pushed the Callaway Corvette well into exotic car territory, competing directly with Ferrari and Porsche. Chevrolet built approximately 500 Callaway twin-turbo Corvettes over the program's lifetime, with each car carrying full factory warranty coverage despite the extensive modifications. The Callaway Corvette proved that American manufacturers could compete with European exotics when they embraced forced induction and advanced engineering. Today, Callaway Corvettes are highly collectible, with pristine examples commanding prices exceeding $100,000 at auction. Number 2, 1989, Pontiac 20th Anniversary, Trans Am Turbo. Pontiac celebrated 20 years of the Trans Am nameplate in 1989 with something special, a turbocharged V6 Trans Am that shocked the automotive world. The Trans Am had debuted in 1969 as a high-performance variant of the Firebird, and 2 decades later, Pontiac wanted to mark the anniversary with something truly extraordinary. Based on the Buick Grand National's legendary turbocharged 3.8-liter V6, the 20th Anniversary Trans Am Turbo produced 250 horsepower and 340 pound-feet of torque, but those numbers were conservative. Dyno tests suggested the engine actually made closer to 300 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque. Quarter-mile times, 13.4 seconds at 101 miles per hour, 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. At the time of its release, the Turbo Trans Am was the quickest 0 to 60 production car available in any American showroom. It beat the Corvette, it embarrassed the Mustang GT and Camaro IROC-Z, and it did it with a V6. The engine had to be modified to fit in the narrower Firebird engine bay, requiring Pontiac engineers to use cylinder heads from the transverse-mounted version of the 3.8-liter V6. The narrower heads required different pistons to maintain the 8-to-1 compression ratio, but Pontiac engineers believed the revised combustion chamber design was actually superior to the original Grand National configuration. Only 1,555 20th anniversary Turbo Trans Ams were built, all finished in white with tan leather interiors. Each carried special badging, unique VIN sequencing, and the distinction of being the Indianapolis 500 pace car for 1989. The white paint scheme with gold accents paid homage to the original 1969 Trans Am, creating a visual link between the Anniversary Edition and the car's heritage. The turbocharged V6 was paired with a 4-speed automatic transmission, the only gearbox in Pontiac's lineup that could handle the torque. The transmission was specially modified with upgraded clutches and a higher stall torque converter, optimized for the turbo engine's power delivery. The car featured the WS6 performance package, with upgraded suspension, 4-wheel disc brakes, and 16-inch aluminum wheels. The suspension used specific spring rates and shock valving to accommodate the different weight distribution of the V6 engine compared to the standard V8 Trans Ams. Driving the Turbo Trans Am was an experience. You'd press the throttle, feel the turbo spool, and then get slammed back into the seat as boost kicked in and the car rocketed forward. It was raw, violent, and addictive. The boost gauge on the dashboard would climb as the turbo spooled, giving drivers a visual indicator of the impending acceleration. The Turbo Trans Am proved that Pontiac still knew how to build excitement, even at the end of a difficult decade. The project was outsourced to PAS Incorporated, an engineering firm led by Jeff Beitzel that handled final assembly and quality control at a facility in California. Today, surviving examples are highly collectible, with low-mileage cars commanding prices between $60,000 and $100,000 at auction. The Turbo Trans Am represented a brief moment when Pontiac defied convention, proving that innovation and heritage could combine to create something truly special. Number 1. 1987 Buick GNX. At the top of our list sits the Buick GNX, the ultimate muscle car of the 1980s and one of the most legendary performance machines ever built. Introduced in 1987 as a swan song for the rear-wheel drive Regal, the GNX was built by McLaren Performance Technologies in collaboration with Buick engineers who wanted to push the turbocharged V6 to its absolute limit. The project began when Buick sent McLaren a standard Grand National V6 in 1985, asking them to develop modifications with possible production in mind. The GNX featured a turbocharged and intercooled 3.8-liter V6, officially rated at 276 horsepower and 360 pound-feet of torque. But everyone knew those numbers were conservative. Actual output was closer to 300 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. Buick underrated the power figures for insurance and internal GM politics. The Corvette was supposed to be GM's performance flagship, and the GNX wasn't allowed to overshadow it on paper. The GNX ran the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds at 102 miles per hour. 0 to 60 came in 4.7 seconds. Some test drivers managed to coax even quicker times, with runs as fast as 13.2 seconds in the quarter mile under ideal conditions. To put that in perspective, the only production car in America that could match the GNX's 0 to 60 time was the Porsche 911 Turbo. The Callaway twin-turbo Corvette was the only American car that could beat it. Everything else, Mustangs, Camaros, standard Corvettes, got left in the GNX's dust. The Ferrari F40, which debuted the same year with significantly more power, only managed to beat the GNX by a few tenths of a second to 60 miles per hour. McLaren upgraded everything. A new ceramic turbine wheel reduced turbo lag and improved spool time dramatically. A larger turbo housing improved top-end breathing, allowing the engine to make more power at higher RPMs. A revised intercooler with new fin design increased cooling efficiency by nearly 20%. The GNX ran 15 pounds of boost across all gears, unlike the standard Grand National, which dropped to 10 to 13 pounds in third and fourth. The suspension was completely reworked with stiffer springs, revised dampers, a torque arm to control rear axle movement, and a panhard rod to reduce lateral shift. The torque arm, borrowed from Buick's ASC McLaren convertible program, eliminated wheel hop and improved traction significantly. 16-inch wheels wore massive 245mm front and 255mm rear Goodyear Eagle VR50 tires. The Goodyear Gatorback tires were specifically developed for high-performance applications and provided grip levels previously unseen on American sedans. The brakes were upgraded to handle the increased performance, with larger rotors and performance brake pads. And the entire package wore murdered-out black paint with subtle GNX badging. The black-on-black aesthetic made the GNX look sinister, earning it the nickname Darth Vader's car among enthusiasts. Inside, the GNX featured special Stewart Warner gauges, including a boost gauge, an oil pressure gauge, and a numbered plaque indicating which of the 547 units you owned. Yes, 547. Buick originally planned to build 500, but demand and production realities pushed the total slightly higher. Each GNX was hand-assembled at McLaren's facility, with engine modifications, suspension upgrades, and final quality control performed by skilled technicians. The original price was around $29,000, expensive for a Buick, but a bargain for the performance. By comparison, a Porsche 911 Turbo cost over $60,000, and a Ferrari Testarossa approached $120,000. The GNX wasn't refined. It rattled over rough roads. The live rear axle hopped and skipped under hard acceleration on anything less than perfectly smooth pavement. The interior was basic by luxury car standards, with hard plastics and budget switchgear that betrayed the car's economy car origins. But none of that mattered. The GNX was about one thing: devastating straight-line speed, and it delivered in a way that shocked the automotive world. Buick, a brand known for comfortable sedans, had built the fastest production car in America. The GNX proved that turbocharging was the future, that you didn't need a big block V8 to dominate, and that American ingenuity could still produce world-class performance. These 12 machines weren't just survivors of a difficult decade. They were fighters, innovators, cars that refused to let American performance die, even when regulations, fuel crises, and changing tastes threatened to kill it forever. From the Fox body Mustang's raw simplicity to the GNX's turbocharged brutality, these cars proved that muscle could evolve, adapt, and thrive. They showed the world that horsepower wasn't dead. It was just getting smarter. The 1980s forced American manufacturers to innovate, to find new ways to extract performance from smaller engines and tighter regulations. The result was a generation of cars that combined old-school muscle with new-school technology, creating legends that still inspire enthusiasts today. Which of these 80s legends would you take for one last quarter-mile run? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you love the untold stories of American performance, hit subscribe for more.